I see the chat is filling up.
Welcome everybody.
Good. So nice to see everybody up on Sunday at 7, ready to rock.
We are.
So we're good to go?
Yep.
All right. So welcome everybody to Masterminds, to the Mastermind. We're so happy to have you here. We hope that you all had a great week, that you got to put the laws into practice, that you're becoming more and more aware how you are the creator of your reality and how your mind is your workshop. So today we're going to finish it off with the 11th law. So congratulations to all of you who've been here, from the first to the last, and all of those who joined us in between. We greatly appreciate it. So I'll just go quickly through the laws. It's always good to, repetition is key because it reminds you all the time. When something happens, by repetition, you kind of putting it in your mind, and you start connecting the dots between what's happening on your outside and what's happening on your inside. So we started with week 1, which was the law of thinking. And the law of thinking dictates that we can only attract what we think. So we learn to guard our mind and guard our thoughts. The second week, we went into the law of supply, and the law of supply depicts that the universe is a source of unlimited supply. So here we learned that there is no such thing as scarcity. There's more than enough for everyone. There's more than enough to go around. Then we dived into week number 3 with the law of attraction, and which we call the law of vibration. And the law of attraction essentially is about what we focus on, we will attract. So we learned that we have to focus our thoughts on what we want so we can get the results that we want. So here we're starting to understand how to navigate this world. Week 4, we went into the law of receiving, and the law of receiving works hand in hand with giving. So this law reminds us to always give from the heart and not to expect anything in return when we give. Then we dived into week 5 with the law of increase. And the law of increase is about being happy and being grateful for what we have now. So this law always reminds us to look for the good that we have in our life, to look for everything that is working for us, and to put our focus on everything that we're grateful for that we have. Then we dived into week 6 with the law of compensation. And this law is all about space or vacuum. So this law taught us that in order for us to bring something new into our life, we must make space for it. So a little bit like a spring cleaning. Then we went into law number 7, which is the law of non-resistance. And then the law of non-resistance says that every thought has a frequency, and the less you resist on something, the less it will exist. So this one kind of taught us that to kind of let go our resistance to things, to have things our way, to kind of like just, want what we want to have, but let go of the resistance of having it. Law number 8 is the law of forgiveness. And the law of forgiveness states that we must learn to accept our own mistakes and letting go of it completely. So listen, when we know better, we do better. So we must forgive us and forgive others. The law number 9 was the law of sacrifice. And the law of sacrifice is to give up something that is of a lower nature for something that is of a higher nature. A little bit like we do every Sunday at 7 a.m. We give up our sleep for study. So study is the higher nature, sleep is the lower nature. Law number 10, which was a law last week, we studied the law of obedience. And the law of obedience reminds us that when we understand the laws and live in harmony with the laws in our daily life, we could achieve great success. So obedience to all the laws that we're studying. And this week is law 11, which is the law of success. And the law of success states that everyone is born to succeed. I mean, isn't that like refreshing? We have the power and the capacity in each of us to be great and to achieve massive success. We need to properly develop it from our inner world in order to have it in our outer world. We need to work from our spiritual thoughts, work on the non-visible energy to see the manifestation happen in our physical life. In conclusion, it is important to live in harmony with the universal laws so as to ensure that we are governed to achieve great success and happiness in life. So guys, success is not maybe it will happen, probably if I do this, it will happen. Everyone is born to succeed. And everyone has the power and the capacity. And so the power starts over here. The power starts over here. And when you got everything in here that you want to achieve, then the outside becomes the out picture of what you want to create. We're here to create. We are creators. So Carolyn's going to dive into the workbook, and we're going to go deeper into the law of success. Go ahead, Carolyn.
Yeah, so Raymond Hollywell in Working with the Laws has some amazing passages for this law, which, kind of, I think of this law as kind of the summary and the culmination of all the other laws. I mean, they're all working in harmony with each other all the time. We're never working outside of the laws. The laws are universal. They're not man-made. We can't change them. But the bottom line is we were all here. We're all here to succeed. So how do we do that? Well, we do that by working in harmony with all the laws, and that there's no way to fail. So I'm going to give you some of the overview that Hollywell lays out in his book. So each normal person is endowed with a complete set of faculties. And the faculties, we think of the 6 higher faculties that we have, right? Imagination, intuition, will, perception, memory, and reason. Okay, we all have those 6 higher faculties, and we're always using them. So if we use our faculties properly developed and scientifically applied, we ensure success and ever-growing success. Man is made for progress. Every man contains within himself the capacity for endless development. Advancement into all things is the law's great purpose. And by learning to work with the law in promoting that aim, man may build himself into greater and greater success. All the processes of nature are successful. Nature knows no failures. She never plans anything but success. She aims at results in every form and manner, and to succeed is the best and fullest sense of the term. We must, with nature as our model, copy her method. In her principles and laws, we shall discover all the secrets of success. Higher faculties, remarkable talents, superior insight, and greater power are dormant in all. And by special psychological methods, these exceptional elements can be developed into extraordinary degree for actual and practical use. Now, psychological methods means using your mind, using your mind as your workshop, as we always say. Every mind can develop greatness. It is simply a matter of knowing how. True self-help, self-discovery, self-knowledge, and the proper instruction in applying one's faculties and using one's forces will advance any person. Practice will ensure efficiency. The power of repetition, practice, practice. Use will bring forth results. Success, therefore, is within the reach of everyone. The law of success is as definite as the laws of any science. The exact use of this law will produce results every time. It is results that count, and as results may be multiplied indefinitely by a persistent application of this law, there is no ending to the success you can enjoy. One cannot rise to a better and greater thing unless you do something about it. Study, planning, and effort are all necessary. Okay, I like this. So nature brooks no interferences with her purpose. This is often the reason why prods and pricks of adversity come to you when you fail to move forward. Right, so I think about that for a second. Anything that we perceive, and again, the law of perception of, nothing is good or bad. It just is, right? It's the definition that we apply to it that makes it so. So if something comes along that we perceive as an adversity, we have to understand that, it's not happening to us, it's happening for us. So if our whole nature is to move forward toward the success in all the things we do, if we're not actually taking action toward that, if we're not moving forward, nature has her way of pushing us forward by giving us circumstances that will make us think about our surroundings, everything that's going on outside and inside to move us forward. So we'll get this adversity. Right.
Yeah, a good example is somebody who doesn't enjoy their job, right? And they go every morning, but then they end up getting, fired or laid off. This is the universe like pushing you, where you felt yourself, you felt yourself that you should leave because you're not happy, but you are not listening to yourself. You're like, how am I going to pay the bills, right? So all this fear thoughts comes in and stops you from moving forward, and this goes for relationships. Sometimes you're in a relationship and you know that the relationship is over, but you stay for whatever, whatever reason, whatever excuse you give, the kids, the dog, the house, the money, whatever it is. But then the relationship ends up ending anyways, by its own means. So you get kind of pushed out, and then you're like, why did this happen to me? Well, because you're being guided, you're being led. You're here to create. You're here to gift. You all have a gift to give to the world. And so you're here to gift it. And when the universe doesn't see you doing your work, it'll push you, it'll kick your butt. So it's kind of fun.
So that's what we often say when something happens to us. We want to turn that around and saying, what's happening for me right now? And if you can stop and ask yourself that question, it just changes your vibrational energy immediately from this place of victim of what happened to me to, oh yeah, I'm the creator here. What's really going on here that's giving me the message that I need to keep moving forward? Pazit and I say that all the time. Keep moving forward. That's what we're here to do. So we don't necessarily define success in terms of money, position, fame, or wealth, although it may include all of these things. True, genuine success of the largest kind lies in the results obtained, harvest reaped, and distributed so that our fellow beings at large are benefited and the world enriched. I mean, isn't that just perfect? Right? Such fulfillment will depend on the actual use one makes of our mind and whether we choose to serve in ignorance or to govern with knowledge and the force of life. Most of us could meet our obligations if it were not for fear of some kind that tells us differently. We hypnotize ourselves into a belief which incapacitates our power. Fear clouds our vision, it benumbs our faculties, it paralyzes our mental forces, which must be free and active if we are to avert calamity. When man's mind is confused by fear, he is in no condition to accept an opportunity. God does not give us the spirit of fear, but of courage and of sound mind. So if we desire success, we must think success, we must talk and act success, and we can do this more easily if we know that the law is on our side. I think that's what I find so comforting in all of it. When I read this, understand it, and apply it, that the law is always working for me. Everything's always going to work out for me. And sometimes when I get off road and off track, other than calling Pazit, I just say to myself, okay, wait a minute. What are the laws that are showing up here? And if I continue to move downstream instead of upstream and resisting what's around me, I know that it can only work out for my good. There is no other way.
That's right. And I wanted to mention that fear is a good way to compare it. Fear is like a nightmare. I don't know if you guys were ever like sleeping in your bed and you had this nightmare and it was really terrible. And then when you woke up from it, you actually couldn't even believe that you were in your room because it felt so real. It felt so real that you woke up and you're looking at your room and you're like, oh my God, everything's okay. So fear is a little bit like that. It plays tricks on you. It's a virus of the mind. It's our own creation. So you have to remember that. So I like the analogy of a nightmare. When you wake up, everything's okay. And you're like, damn, I'm fine. Everything's okay. I'm in bed. The world didn't explode. I didn't get shot. I'm not bleeding. I'm okay. Depending what kind of nightmare you have. And you realize that it was all in your mind, had nothing to do with the reality when you looked on the outside. So always remember that.
So half of our failures then that we pull in at the moment when we should let out all our forces to have full vent as we make a leap, we tend to jerk ourselves back into failure just when we could be riding on to victory, right? Success is right there, but we often stop short of it, right? We don't keep moving forward. We stand still, or we move backwards into the familiar instead of continuing to constantly move forward towards our success. And our success is inevitable if we keep applying laws and we keep focused on what we can do versus what we can't do, use our higher mental faculties, and take action on our ideas. You can't help but succeed because success is there for you. So the real secret consists in moving forward. And that particular mental attitude, which promotes this constant progress, is the ruling factor of the art of success, your mental attitude. The fact that you desire to succeed is evidence that you have the power to succeed. Otherwise, you would not have been urged to aspire to success moving forward. Investigating the lives of successful men, we find a very striking fact. We find a common quality that is responsible for success, which consists of a constructive state of mind. Psychologists term this constructive state of mind as a successful attitude. Simple as it may seem, in most every case, the difference which decides success or failure is the ruling mental attitude. The positive mental attitude of the man who thinks he can, in contrast with the negative attitude of another who thinks he can't, is practically the only difference between the two, between one who succeeds and the one who fails.
Yeah, which brings me to the quote, whether you think you can or you can't, you're right. So it really comes down to how you think. If you think you can, you will achieve it. If you think you can't, you're also right. You won't be able to achieve it. So you have to decide, again, your mind is your workshop. So you always have to decide, which way are you going? Are you going to can, or are you going to can't?
Yeah. Yeah. And we find ourselves in that place every day, right? Every day so using your mind is what's most important. So begin now to take a superior view of yourself, your life, and your circumstance. Catch the spirit of the words I can, and you can have the key to the successful attitude. Know you can succeed and proceed to think, live, and act in that strong conviction.
Absolutely. I think another point that I would like to bring is, especially when you're like doing something new, you're going on new territory. I think Charlene can relate to that. Well, all of us, we're all kind of going, but Charlene's like, she's leaving, the familiar, what she's been doing for 25 years and going into this unfamiliar territory. Where is Precious Pinata going to take Charlene? She has no idea, she has no idea. Nobody can predict the future, but she feels it. She has a calling for it, and she's following, and the doors are opening for her, and that's just the way it is. And I want you to know that everybody that goes for success, nobody knows what's waiting for us. When I came to Miami, I didn't know where I was going to live. I didn't know what I was going to do, how I was going to do it, from photography to consulting. No idea, but I felt the calling, and I just followed the calling. And I have to tell you, I'm not sure if you all can relate, but all the pieces come to you. That's what it is. It's all the pieces come to you step by step, day by day. So it's like a little bit, it's a surprise. So you kind of have to learn to understand that you're working in harmony with the laws. And because you're working in harmony with the laws, you understand that it's a process. So you can feel like in harmony, you can feel in peace as the pieces come to you. Okay, because you won't see the whole picture. Charlene doesn't see the whole picture of, where the whole pinata is gonna go. She has a great idea of where she wants to take it, but she cannot see how all the pieces are gonna come together. Those come as a surprise. A little one here, a little one there, a little one there. And, but all she keeps doing is she keeps moving forward. She keeps putting it here. She keeps creating. She created her mascot. She created the pinata baskets that I saw, She's doing speaking engagements. She's done a book, and that's how it goes. It's piece by piece by piece. So I want you guys to remember that.
And what's really important, as to your example with Charlene and all of her success, is you have to make a mental picture and hold it in your mind, that which you are aspiring to achieve. Begin with a persistent effort to work towards the final goal. I mean, that summarizes exactly what Charlene did. Okay, and what all of you have done in your various parts of your success story. You create a mental picture of what it is that you want. And in all of these laws, it tells us the same thing. You create your life by creating the mental picture and then acting as if the wish is fulfilled. So what does it feel like now that that successful goal is complete and you put yourself in that energy, that vibrational energy, feeling good about everything in your life, no matter what the circumstances are at this particular moment? You literally ignore it. Okay, it's there. Don't give it any attention. Don't give your energy to it. The only place you want to give your energy is to moving yourself forward toward the goal that you have pictured in your mind. And when you do that, circumstances, people, opportunities, they just fall in your lap. I'm sure everybody can relate to a circumstance or an opportunity that showed up that you went, my God, like how, I just thought of that like 2 days ago and that person just showed up. Well, yeah, because now you've taken your mental faculties and you've used them to your benefit to move yourself forward toward the goal. And the universe is playful and she loves to play it in the success game. So use your mental faculties to move you forward, and you may not see the road in front of you, but the road will open up to match you. You just have to have that faith. So I have, I think one or two more here that are really short.
And also something I wanted to mention is, don't, there's a saying that says, deny the evidence of the senses, meaning when you're going for your goal, you won't see the big success that you want right away. You might, and you're going to go through some, like a few challenges as you get there. So deny the evidence of the senses, meaning don't look at the challenges as like, oh, it's a roadblock, I should stop. No, you keep moving forward. You have your vision, right? You hold that image, strong, whatever it is for you, whatever business you want, whether it's a business, relationship, financial amount that you'd like to get, hold on to it strong no matter what's going on the outside. Okay, even if the circumstances on the outside don't match the image that you have on the inside, you make that image stronger, bigger. Okay, you put your focus on your vision, because we create inside out. Inside out. And you have to remember that if we go with what we see on the outside, we keep recreating more of the outside. Okay, so good example of that is if, for example, like you see like lack and scarcity on the outside, let's just say your bank account is not where you want to be. You keep seeing that, you keep thinking that, you keep vibing with lack, and you keep getting things, unexpected bills. You all of a sudden you have a toothache. All of a sudden this one has fever, you have to go to the doctor. All these like things that are going to be expenses, bills. People call up all of a sudden, years ago, oh, you owe this amount. So you're going to keep bringing more of that. It's going to make you feel, you're going to be looking at that on the outside. You're like, oh man, why am I attracting all this lack and lack and lack? Because where's your focus? Where's your mind on? It's on lack. So you have to learn also to deny the evidence of the senses, meaning you just see where you're at and you're like, okay, so I need to focus a little bit harder, okay, on prosperity. That's all it means.
Yeah.
And you know that you create from the inside out. So you do everything you can to, okay, I see it. I'm done. I'm not going to give it any more focus. I'm going back on the inside. I'm going to create it the way I see it, the way I vision it.
Yeah, it's always important to come back to that vision, and that starts with creating that vision. So if you haven't created a vision, exactly, clearly defined goal, target, destination, it's like a GPS, and your car doesn't know which way to turn out of your driveway if you don't plug in a destination. If you don't tell it where you want to go. So you got to get the universe completely involved in your vision, write it down. And think about it constantly. There's a whole section in this chapter that we won't go into today. We could go into it another day, but it's all about what you do with your spare time. We're thinking all the time about our goal, but even in our spare time and all of those things, all of the time frames that you aren't working or creating constructively, consciously, what are you doing with your mind in your spare time? And Hollywell goes into this whole thing about procrastination, right? And how we want to move forward, but then we set up for ourselves all the limits that tell us why we can't. And then we procrastinate doing the very things we know that we should be doing. Bob Proctor calls it the knowing doing gap. So what do you do with your spare time? How do you spend it? Where do you spend it? What are you thinking about? Who are you surrounding yourself with? Like, become aware of your entire day. Could be so enriching if you're using your spare time. Pazit and I use our spare time, a good deal of it, in study, because we know it's an ingredient to propel us forward toward whatever success we each have for, you know, our together projects, our separate projects. It doesn't matter what we're doing. Study is important. We want to get in the habit of using our spare time constructively. Every minute that you use your mental activities in your spare time constructively, it's profitable, right? If you're thinking of it always in the mindset of prosperity and abundance and everything that you can do to move yourself forward, okay? So use all your time constructively. The one who is killing time is destroying his opportunities, while the man who is succeeding is making his time live and make use of his time. So knowledge is not just success, it's the way we use our knowledge and how we apply our knowledge every day. So I love this chapter. It just kind of, it reinforces and gives me a great amount of, it's a calming thing to know that every effort that you're putting in to what you're doing and creating will advance you toward success. It's never in vain. It's never a waste of your time. So just know that everything that you're doing will move you forward. And the amount of mental activity and the mental attitude you're in will kind of change your speed.
Absolutely. And I think that I remember like being at Tony Robbins, he was saying that 80% of what we do is psychological and 20% is activity. And it's so true, because the biggest work is done in your mind. And the smallest work you have to do is the actions after, you know, once your mind is clear on your goal. And another thing that I wanted to mention is that the universal language is thoughts and pictures. It is thoughts and pictures. So if you want to talk to the universal language, a language that it understands, it's thoughts and pictures. So just think of it like you're going to a country where you don't understand the language and you're speaking a different language. You don't understand what they're saying. They don't understand what you're saying. That works the same way with the universe. But once you're in harmony with the languages of the universe, which is thoughts and pictures, well, now you guys are talking the same language. The universe understands you, you understand it, and now you're like in harmony with it. So always remember that. That's why we always talk about the power of thoughts. And of course, I always talk about the power of photography and images. There's another thing that it said that success can be summarized as the way to learn to use the two valuable things, our time and our thought. Okay, so thought and pictures goes hand in hand because we think in pictures. So it's like really one thing. And then our time. What I noticed a lot is, you know, always like write down like your 6 activities that can get you closest to your goals. You know, I loved what I learned from Bob Proctor, where he says, you know, we can't manage time. Time can be managed. We can manage activities. So you just write the activities that are the most important, that have to get done in a day, that will get you closer to your goal. And he suggests only 6 of them. And I love that. It's not overwhelming. It's so easy to do, you know. But believe me, at the end of the year, you know, when you scratched off enough sheets with like 6 activities, I mean, you know, it's a 6 times, you know, 6 times 7, right? 42 times, you know, 1 month. It all adds up. It all adds up.
Very much time to feel, and it gives you this great feeling of success, right? Actually, when I send out the replay, I have a download for the 6 activities that I've created that I'll send you. Just download it. It's interactive, and it's basically a tracker, a 6 activity tracker, and you can use it and you can change it up every day, and it's got fillable fields. So use that to start to get in the habit of those 6 daily activities, which are goal achieving activities, not doing the laundry and picking up the kids and all the other things that we do, right, with our time. But yeah, Pazit is right, and that's one of the most valuable lessons that Bob teaches, and he learned that from Earl Nightingale. You know, you can't manage time. We all get 24 hours in the day. How you manage your activity during that time is what counts. And chances are you can get a lot more done than you think in terms of your activity if you just create a list, look at the list, Knock the things off the list one by one. It sounds so simple, but it really is that simple. And if you get 3 activities done, you put 3 to the next day, that's cool too. But most people don't even write them down. So they just wander aimlessly thinking about, okay, there's a list here, there's a couple of things here. But these are goal achieving activities. Once you have the picture of what your goal is, and you know that you're going to move steadily toward it by using all of your faculties, your imagination and your will, and you have discipline, then those activities become easier to move through. And guess what? At the end of the week, you've already mastered things towards your goal that maybe you wouldn't have in a month, but you've written them down, you're aware of them, and you take action every single day. That's how goals are achieved. That's how anybody who succeeds and achieving exactly what they want has done. They've actually mapped it out for themselves, and they take action every single day.
Right. Definitely get into a do it now mindset, you know, not do it later. I'll do it tomorrow. No, do it now. Do it now. You have an idea, do it now, you know?
That's Bob's definition of discipline, is giving yourself a command and doing it.
That's right.
It's, again, it sounds simple, but it really is.
It really is.
Simple.
It really is simple, you know, it really is simple. You know, success is just a discipline to work with the laws, and a discipline of yourself. Where's your time going? Are you spending it, you know, playing, you know, games on your phone? Are you spending it, you know, responding to every email that comes in? No, I have a time where I respond to emails. I have a time where I don't take phone calls, you know, everything has a time. You don't let people like phone calls barge in and out, because before you know it, it's the end of the day and you're like, oh my God, I didn't do anything. And if you, you know, add that as another day, there goes a month and you didn't get much forward, and then you lose momentum and you're like, it's not for me, this, you know. No, it is for you. Success is for everybody. You were born to succeed. It's in you. There's no if, what, maybe, okay, yes, you, not you. No, it's for everybody. But you just got to know how to use your mind to get you to where you want to be. And it's all about disciplining it. So I think what we could do is we can definitely open the, you know, the floor. We'd love to hear how you guys enjoyed the law of success, how you feel you can apply it, the I can attitude versus I can't, or anything that you've learned that you're going to apply this week, you know, because it's all about practicing. It's one thing to study it, but guys, it's not just the knowledge. The knowledge is good to have because now you've expanded your mind. You understand different things. You understand a different way. But now that you understand a different way, you got to apply. Okay? It's like working with a trainer. He shows you the move, but if you're not going to do the workout, you ain't going to get the results, even though you got the moves, right? So we'd like to open the floor. Let's, you know, who'd like to
share?
Would like to share.
Natalie.
Go ahead, Natalie.
Good morning.
So it was interesting. You talked about adversity, and when things are given to you as a sign that you have to change direction. So yesterday I was at an event in Barrie, and I went because I'm trying to get myself out there and show my artwork to different people. And it didn't go well at all. It was not a good day. It was not a place I was meant to be. And I got partway through the day and went, I am so in the wrong place. Like, this is not where my artwork's meant to be. The people I am around, they were limiting themselves to what they were, you know, going to buy and whatnot. And I just went, you are so not in the right place. So what I loved about that was it made me realize I am playing way too small, that I'm not giving myself credit for the work I'm doing, that I have to be more specific in where I'm going to be with my artwork. And the lesson I learned was, as much as it wasn't the right place for me, I got that lesson out of it. And now I reached out to someone and said, I need to play big. I'm sort of done with this whole small. I've been trying to see where I fit in, but yesterday was a huge eye opener that I was so in the wrong place.
That's so good. I love that.
Huge. And I thought it's a way of, as you say, the universe is going, hello, do you want to go where you need to go instead of playing small and being in a location with people who they're not interested and they're playing small?
Yeah.
and it's just not
It's just
the
a
right place.
reflection, right? Natalie, what I love is that, first of all, congratulations for going to a show. I really applaud you for that and for taking the step. I think that's fantastic. And I think the universe showed you. You have to remember that it's a mirror. If you see them playing small, it's just a reflection of you playing small. So you're like, damn, I'm done with this. So you know what? Good for you. You know why you went there? You went there to learn that you got to play bigger.
Yeah.
And you caught on your own. So your awareness is on point.
And it shows you your growth, right? Like you get to actually reflect on, oh my gosh, I would have thought at some time this is where I belong, but I knew, and we always know by the way we feel.
Yeah.
Right? That's the question always you ask yourself. You know, and you knew it. You identified it by the way you were feeling, and you knew you were not in harmony with who you are. And those people can be wherever they choose to be, but it's not where you belong. And so you keep moving forward. So
Yeah.
I think it's fantastic. And more importantly, that you understood the lesson that was there for you. I think that's what is so valuable all the time when we're in any given situation, that we can actually identify what the message is in the mess, right? What's going on around me, and what's really going on here?
Yeah. And I think just by taking a glance, that's what I love about Natalie's story is, again, deny the evidence of the senses, meaning you just by a glance, you saw where you are. You're like, yeah, too small. I'm out of here.
Yeah.
That's it. You got it.
Expansion. Love it.
Onwards and upwards.
Good for you. Okay. Who would like to share? We have anybody else who wants to give us something about their week or what they're planning, or even better, what are you planning for this week? Maybe a step that you may not have thought you were going to take, that you've now decided, I'm going to take that next step forward because I know that it's meant for me. So I'm going to do it. I'm not going to worry about any of the fear that I've got. I'm just going to move forward. Who has one of those inspirations?
Or anybody who wants to use the mastermind, to talk about an idea. If anybody had a situation in the week that wants to use the power of the mastermind to clear it up.
Charlene.
Oh, we got a few hands up. Okay, so we'll give 2 minutes to, there's quite a few hands up, so we want to go through everyone. So we'll give 2 minutes to everyone. Go ahead, Charlene.
Well, thank you very much. And I'm so enjoying this, and it's really difficult for me to get out of bed early in the morning, but since I've started this, I can't wait to get out of bed. So awesome. As you mentioned, I just, I'm leaving a place where I'm playing too small, and that really resonated with me, Natalie. So now I'm making all the steps and just keep going with the flow going. And everything that you're saying is so true, because you can't see the full picture, but you keep moving forward and the universe will work with you.
Absolutely.
So, but this morning when I woke up, the first thing I thought is, Charlene, your body's starting to make little pains here and there. So you need to focus again on fitness, because I pushed all that aside, working full time, doing this, doing that, go. And then I just kind of let the physical go, right? As far as, working out, walking, being in nature. So I know this is my priority this week, is to start walking.
Okay, good.
To put it part of your 6 activities.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's good. Exactly.
And that all contributes to your success as well, because being successful isn't, our career minded. It's being successful in everything that we do, which means self-care. Always caring for yourself first, because you're the temple. So you want to make sure that, you eat properly and you do get the exercise that your body needs, and you're listening to your body. It's telling you, right? We listen to the signs that our body.
And you get ideas, That's what I love. Like Charlene, like you were saying, you get this idea, I'd like to go back to working out, That's an idea that's given to you. And that's why I say, do it now. So go for a walk after this, because once you're up,
Yeah.
I find like getting up sometimes is hard, but then I look outside and it's so beautiful. The sun's coming out. I was looking where I am, I'm on the lake. So the water and the houses are reflecting. So I'm like thinking, as above, so below. Oh my God, that's so cool. Like all these like things are coming to me.
Yeah.
And there's something really beautiful about it. And I'm like thinking, I'd like to do this more often. And it's just, you know,
the idea, and you move with the idea, and the idea is meant for you, and it's meant for your success, even though you can't see where this idea actually applies to
right.
what's coming for you. So when you get these ideas, these
Just act on
inspired
them.
thoughts, these downloads, right?
Yep.
Take
Yep.
action on them, because
Yep.
they're meant for you.
Yep.
That's it. They're
Right?
telling you,
That's
okay,
great.
you know, PP's
Thanks,
going on a
Carolyn.
big world tour, you know, you got to be like in top shape, you know.
You bet. Okay. Who else would like to share? I know there's other hands up.
There was Valerie as well.
Valerie?
Mm-hmm.
There you go, Valerie.
Hi, good morning, everybody.
Morning.
I love this chapter so much, and I've made a commitment that I'm going to read it out loud every single morning after I write out my stuff for the next 90 days, because it's exactly what I need. One of the big takeaways for me over the last week was noticing that I don't beat myself up anymore if I mess up or miss the mark. I just think about, how did I not follow the law? And that sort of goes with, in the other study group, the 6 a.m. club, we're reading Neville Goddard right now.
Power of awareness.
We're reading The Power of Awareness right now.
So good.
So that chapter 4 with all of the pruning stuff.
So good.
That's what I'm doing, is I'm reflecting back on my day, and it's like, where did I not follow the law? But I'm not beating myself up anymore. For me to not be beating myself up anymore is so massive. Like, that is so big. And I just wanted to share very quickly, my aunt in Florida called me yesterday. She said, I went to go see a psychic. I've got messages for you. Shit's about to get real. No, it's insane. It speaks to how closely she and I are connected, that somehow my energy was going through her or hers through me or whatever, because this guy that I don't even know his name, but he got it. It started off, he wanted to know, he asked my aunt, do you have a mentally imbalanced sister? And she said, yes, that's my mother, by the way. Daughter needs to keep an eye on her. She's about ready to pop. I just emailed her the other day to see if we could talk on Sunday. So I need to reach out to her today. So I'll find out what's going on. Her daughter is in a helping profession. She's very much a healer. She's going to be publishing. Hopefully she's going to be comfortable speaking in front of large groups, because opportunities are coming. She's going to be publishing material. Nothing's holding her back. She's got 2 children. She came out of a very dark place, but it was a blessing in disguise. She's a healer, but she understands the shadow side of the work. She's a powerful individual coming from a place of love. She has 2 children who are also in a dark place, and they need her. That she needs to rescue them. She needs to fight for them, because they're being manipulated. And go. And my dream house is back on the market, but it's probably underwater by now.
Right.
Because it's on Riviere de Prairie.
Oh, yeah.
See what happens when the waters go down. So I'm just really super stoked. And Wednesday's Mastermind got me more perspective again on who I am and my writing and everything. Like, I see all of the pieces going together, and apparently the universe has confirmed it. So
absolutely. Messages come to you, you know, messages come through other people, but they come to you. If your aunt revealed it to you, it's because you needed to hear that.
You weren't hearing it or seeing it on your own. So look at how the universe magically got you the messages that you needed to hear.
Right.
And it's so powerful, so powerful. And so now, you know, when you know that there's, you cannot fail, you know, when you know that you cannot fail, you just like you just go for it, you know. Right. There's nothing stopping you but you.
But even before I spoke to Liz yesterday, it's like I know that everything's going to work out. I know that everything's going to work out. I know, but it's like now I really, really know that everything's going to work out.
Right. Because like before I wasn't so sure. Yeah. It's to never doubt it, it. You were born for success, you know, and your mind is your workshop, and you know that you have the power within you, that you're the one, by the power of your thoughts, can change your destiny, can change the direction of where, you know, I always say navigate, because I do feel like we're navigating in our mind, we're navigating our thoughts. You know, you have the choice where you're going to go. And I think that's such a powerful, you know, such a powerful future and present, because it's you who's going to bring it to life, right?
Yeah.
And it's so aligned with everything that you're doing. So absolutely, just keep going, never stop.
Forward.
Yeah. And another thing with the power of the mastermind is because sometimes you don't have the family and the friends that are at your level that could support you properly. You understand? Because they're not where you are. So that's where the power of the mastermind comes in, and we become your family and your support. And we feed your mind. We feed we keep like re-navigating you, like recheck. Okay, guys, it's like taking your car into the garage. Okay, now it's gonna work good, and you're coming back next week. So you're maintaining and you're maintaining and you're maintaining, and you keep maintaining your thoughts in one direction, and that's when it's just gonna jet off. It just jets off.
Yeah. I love the way you put that. My mastermind groups are definitely my family. Like, they're so vitally important.
Yeah, because the feeling that you get is that you're in harmony, right? It's that feeling of being with like-minded and kindred spirit that are in harmony. So you can ask the questions, you can get the answers at that level, but by sharing with a mastermind, you also get ideas from other people, right? We all feed off of the energy in the room. That's what is so powerful when all minds come together. It's one of the most successful tools in any of the interviews. There's a whole section of it on Think and Grow Rich, and this goes, back to the beginning of time. Masterminds are a super powerful way of moving yourself forward. So
yeah. No one's achieved great success. If you look at all the 1% of the world, nobody's ever achieved success without the power of a mastermind. You need it. We all need it. It's for all of us. We all need it, So congratulations.
That's great.
And keep going. Yeah, I think we have time for one more. Yeah, go ahead.
And again, I'm going to send you off the goal achieving. I don't have it here to just drop in the chat, but I'll send it in the review, and make use of that, because one of the most powerful things about using a goal achieving tracker for yourself is as you tick things off the list, it's almost like getting a star as a kid when you achieved something, like for me, just ticking things off the list, it's just an activity that makes me feel successful. I say I was disciplined enough to get that done. It's off the list. The next thing off the list. The next thing off the list, and that just feeds your energy towards success. Just that simple activity of ticking off items off the list of things that you want to do. So,
and you also feel very accomplished, at the end of the day when you got like all 6 done. Sometimes it's when I work with a list, I get so much more done than when I work without. And I've noticed the same with my clients. When they work with the list, they get so much more done. And if they neglect the list or they neglect to do, they're like, Pazit, my week was all over the place. I said, I know. Just your mind works with the commands. So just give it, 6 little commands, that it has to do every day. That's going to get you to the big, to your big picture vision, whatever it is you want to do, whether it is you want to, become, like a best-selling author and travel the world and give talks all over the place. If that's the vision, you on stages, you going global, you on planes. So what can you do? Can you book a speaking engagement this week? Can you reach out to people that have companies and do a lunch and learn? You start thinking of ways on how you can already start. You don't need to wait, guys. You're ready. You're born ready. Yeah. You're born, your stuff, like Natalie, like you too, like your art, you've been an artist for so long, where your artist belongs, who can you call? How many, what galleries you want? Let's, if you see that you want to play big, you look at all those big galleries and you see where they're at, whether they're in Montreal or, in Toronto or in New York, you call them, you get in touch with the people, and those are part of the activities that will lead you to your bigger picture, And
you get those insights, those inspirations come to you when you take time to sit in the calm and the quiet, even if it's just 10 minutes, guys, every single day. No phones are on. There's no distractions whatsoever. Don't turn on your phone in the morning before you download from your mind what is meant for you for that day. Because the moment you turn on your phone or you check an email, that's it. So if you want a habit, it's a habit I use, learned it from Brendan Burchard and Marie Forleo a few years ago. I call it, my hour of power in the morning, which doesn't include any devices. So until I meditate, until I feel into what my day is holding for me, and I write down those activities, or I write them down at night. I try to write them down at night for the morning, but if I don't write them down at night, they're written down in the morning. And then move myself mentally through the achievement of those activities before the world gets to download itself into my mind. I want me to download from my mind first without any distraction. And guess what happens? Ideas come. Tons of ideas come in that quiet of the mind. And that's your biggest powerful time of your day before everything else starts to show up. So it's a really great habit if you want. If you want any more information about how to do that, just reach out to me and I'll give you a couple of great tips. So.
Yeah, and just remember that we're always creating inside out, so don't rush out into the world. That's what the 97% do. When you're working with the universal laws, you're working differently. You're working inside out. So you're not rushing like a crazy person outside into the world. You're going inside. You're rushing inside to your world. You understand your intentions for the day. You know where you're going for the day. You have your vision. You understand how the laws work. You work with the laws. You work in harmony. And, day by day, piece by piece, it's so funny. Piece, I don't know, this just came to me, like piece by piece, you'll end up with your masterpiece, that's pretty much, that's how it works, it's one thing every day. So,
does anybody else have anything to share before we move into the next little bit for the month of May? Anybody? Going once? Wendy? Hang on, I'm unmuting you. Okay, got a minute.
I love these calls. They're great. Getting up on a Sunday morning is at this early is great. No matter what I've done. But I think for me, what happens is I kind of got busy moving in my direction, and I got a little off track with my morning routine of getting up, going to the gym, and then spending an hour after doing my meditation and stuff, because I felt like I had to rush off to do other things. So, again, this was great because it's just, it's what I already had in my mind, but you reaffirmed that I've got to reset again. So that is
just a reminder. That's it. You already know what you have to do. Nobody, like, we all know what we have to do. We just, every once in a while, we just need a reminder. That's all.
Yeah, just to poke back on track. So, and I'm not going to wait till tomorrow. I'm going to start today and set out what I want to do for the week, and then set up every morning what I'm going to do. And that's what I do is I write things in my day timer, because if I don't write things in my day timer as to what I plan to do for the day and the week, it's just like sales, same thing. You set up what your plan is for the week. And so I do that. Even if I don't have specific appointments, I kind of make appointments.
Yeah. So, you set your intentions for your week. That's always a great use of your spare time on a Sunday, right? Is to set your intentions for the week. What do I want? How is it going to feel this time next week when XYZ has been done, accomplished? I've succeeded at these 6 items, 10 items, whatever it is that you want to see, and then feel the wish fulfilled. Feel into what it feels like to have succeeded a week from now. And that's the motivation that will pull you towards getting those tasks done. When when you don't feel like it, you're going to have days where you don't feel like doing what it is that you have to do, but you've got to have the discipline, right? It's a habit.
Absolutely.
Right? Say, okay, I this is how it feels when it's achieved, and I want that feeling. It's like going to the gym. You don't always feel like going to the gym, but man, does it feel good when you leave the gym and you know that you did that hour workout and you know that your body is thanking you. So that's the way I get myself into things I don't want to do. I always feel what it feels like when it's achieved. And that sometimes is like the difference between knowing and doing.
Yeah, it's falling in love with the results, right? It's falling in love with the results. A healthy body, you feel good, you love the way your clothes fit you. That's what's, that's the motivation. That's the excitement. That's the vision. The vision is I feel good, I feel strong, my body looks hot, and you're like, damn, And we all get off track, and that's why it's so important, because the pull to the familiar is so huge, you know.
Yeah.
And that's why when you feel like you're off track, when you realize, oh my God, I'm not doing my morning, you know, rituals, whatever it is for you guys, whether it's meditation, visualization, affirmations, whatever method it is, you just set it back, put it again in the schedule. When it's on the schedule, like meaning this, it's part of your 6 activities. It's part of the 6 activities. It's going to get done, you know, it's going to get done.
Reset. Mindset reset.
Yeah, mindset reset all the time, you know, until like it becomes such a habit that that's it. You don't need to reset it anymore.
Yep. Okay, so Pazit, do we want to talk a little bit about what we're planning for the month of May?
Yeah, so for the month of May, we're so excited. After we finish these 11 laws, we decided to go and do the study of the Kabbalion. Now, the Kabbalion came to me. It's a bit of a funny story. When I went to Montreal about a year ago, I met a mentor. Of course, by luck, I guess, you know, by coincidence, as you would say. But of course, it was no coincidence. It was, you know, when you're ready, when the student is ready, the mentor shows up.
Yeah.
And my mentor had given me this book, and the book was all about it was about this, you know, the
Hermetic philosophy.
The Hermetic philosophy. And I read it, and, you know, it had all like these, you know, Egyptian, you know, pyramids and holographics. And anyways, I read it. I didn't understand. I was like, this is like Chinese. Like, what is this, you know? So when I had asked my mentor, what is this? He's like, just read it. And you know what? I read it, but it was like, really, I could not understand the language in it. And I kind of put it aside. Although I traveled back and forth to Miami, I would always bring it with me. I don't know why. Like, I felt like, you know, sometimes when you feel like there's a piece like you want in your purse, or in your, you know, there's a piece you want. I always brought it with me. And although I kept reading it on the plane and on the flights, I'm like, I just don't get it. So I let it go. I was like, that's it. When I was in Florida, I went to a networking event, and I met this gentleman, and he started talking to me about the Kabbalion. I'm like, oh, that's so funny. What is this Kabbalion? So he was telling me about the whole principles and all that. And I said to him, oh my God, that's so crazy. I have a mentor who gave me the book, the booklet, and I don't understand it. Can you explain it to me? So he started a little bit explaining it to me, and I kind of let that go on the side. And then as we started doing the 11 laws, the Kabbalion came up again. And this time I was ready to receive it. And then I read it, and I said, oh my God, we got to take it into the world. So right away I created a whole thing. I shared it with Carolyn. I'm like, Carolyn, this is the master key. So what is the Kabbalion? I'll just give you a little excerpt on it. So the Kabbalion is composed of 7 omnipresent principles revealed by the ancient Egyptian master Hermes Trismegistus. These laws were so secret and guarded that they have been passed down over the millennia only via oral tradition to those who are worthy of this knowledge. In 1908, the 3 initiates of this teaching recorded the Kabbalion as a written record for the benefit of those who wish to pursue higher learning and understanding the universal laws that literally govern the mental and physical universe. In this study, you can empower yourself by gaining insight into the mind of God. These laws are the basis of all metaphysics. Understanding these unwavering principles will enhance your ability to be the master of your own life and your destiny. So why do we study this material? Because it opens up our mental faculty, and it also helps you manifest your destiny, and it can guide you to live, to be, to do, and to have whatever you choose. Also, these principles are the principles, understanding these 7 core principles of Hermetic philosophy simply provide a key, a master key, which can open many doors and to the mystery through the portals that has already entered. So basically, all the law of manifestation, the law of attraction, all the books are rooted in the Kabbalah. Now that you go back, once I became aware of the Kabbalah, I started studying it like in depth. I went crazy into it, and I use it a lot in my manifesting. I use it a lot in my teachings. And I told Carolyn that we have to, as Carolyn and I were talking, we decided together that we must bring this out into the world. So we decided.
It's the basis of all the books that we know. It is the laws of laws that go back to the ancient teaching. And we're talking 4,000 years ago. So you can understand that all of the modern day, and I say that loosely, you're talking, some of the teachings of Napoleon Hill and Dr. Maxwell Maltz and These all go back to the early part of the 20th century, so 1937, 1912, 1918. So we get a lot more familiar with the laws now because there's more and more people that are interpreting them and using them in their teachings, but these laws are fundamental and they go back to the early days. And so this becomes really important because as we move forward through the different material that we want to study, this is like the foundation of all of it. And I started to read it and understand it and recognize a lot of the laws that we talk about, even some of the laws that we've worked with here, I could see how they were rooted in these original 7 master key laws, these principles. So we want to bring these to you in the month of May. So the 7 a.m. club for the 4 Sundays in May, starting May 5th next week, we've developed a 4-week program for everybody. I'm going to put the link to register for it in the chat. And it's 7 a.m., 7 principles, $7. That's our, and you're going to see it in the link that I'm going to put right now in the chat. And we would love to have you on this journey with us. So we're going to resume these laws in June, but for the 4 weeks in May, we're going to study the 7 principles. You're going to get the book, the PDF, and you're going to get Pazit did a brilliant summary of all of them. You're going to get that as well. And if you register at that link, then you'll get an email confirmation with all the material that you need all in one fell swoop. So we would love you all in the 777 Club. Yes, Natalie Broderick. Starting next week for 4 weeks, we're going to study the material. We're going to read the material. We're going to interpret it. We're going to mastermind on it. We're going to understand it, and then we're going to apply it. So
that's right. And what's really funny is that after I had mentioned it to Carolyn, I think she was reading Neville Goddard, and she realized, oh my God, he makes reference to the Kabbalion, and she's like, I never noticed it. I'm like, yes, Carolyn, this is like the root. This is where it all started. Every single principle is based on this. The 11 laws are based on the Kabbalion. So the Kabbalion came first. It's the firstborn, and being able to go more in depth into it gives the student the master key. And so now I understand, for me, everything comes in threes, 3 times a charm. So the 3rd time I listened and delved very, very deep into it. And it is the only way I live my life. And you have to remember the universal laws are not man-made. They're not, they're from God, right?
Universe guided. God guided.
Right. So they're not man-made, and so that's why they work so wonderful. And when you learn to apply these laws, which are very similar, like it's very similar to the 11 laws, except it goes really more in depth. So your understanding expands even more. And once your understanding expands even more, well, life becomes even more magical. So they do call this the master key. This is the master key. That's it. After this, guys, you have everything you need to navigate through the game of life. And they do refer to life as the game of life. Yeah. And so we didn't come into the world with a manual, right? And so this is kind of the manual to navigate your thoughts towards achieving the success that you want. And all the 1% are reading the Kabbalion. The Kabbalion is the this is like, they say when the student is ready, this book shows up in their life. So if you feel ready, it's showing up in your life. This is why, you're here. We wanted to give you this opportunity. And the question is, will you take the key and unlock the doors? So Carolyn, I can't hear you. I don't know if it's me or...
I'm off. I'm muted. Okay, guys. So hang on for a second because I do have to make a change from very late last night. So if you give me a minute, don't register quite yet. And I'm going to make a change for everybody. And then we're going to be good to go. So, okay, Pazit, do you want to
Yeah. So on that, we hope to see you all. We wanted to make it in a way that's kind of really fun and playful. That's why we did the 777. Of course, the seven. There is a big thing with the number seven. The seven is the universal number. It's the number of they refer to seven as the number of God, universal. So all this comes together, which is really, really fun. And we hope that we will continue with all of you and see all your faces on the inside of the Cabalon. I think you guys will really appreciate it and enjoy it, and we just want you to keep expanding and keep moving forward. And the more grounded you are in the principles, the easier life becomes. You just there's such a trust. I love what Valerie said. She's like, I knew, but once she got confirmation, she's like, I knew even more,
But you already knew.
But she already knew, but now she knows even more, So the Kabbalah kind of does the same thing. It's like, yeah, I know this, but wow, now I know it. So really what's missing is the conviction.
Yeah.
And once you have the conviction, you become unstoppable. Because all the things that happen to you, you're like, this is not important. Just it's the game of life. You're like unstuck. You just keep going, just like one wall after next, and that's it. You become like fearless.
Okay, hang on just a second. You're right, Andrew. Michael has a question.
Sure.
Michael. It's all
hello. Good morning. Good morning, guys.
Good morning.
Good morning, Michael.
How are you?
Good.
On fire.
Good,
How are you?
So good. I just wanted to say that it's so great to be on the call. And one of the things that you had said earlier on, Carolyn, of self-care, it's been, I just wanted to say, share something with everybody this week that I finally had a chance. It was really wonderful to take myself on a date.
Oh,
and it's really,
a date with Michael?
I had a date with Michael. And it was really cool because you know what? It's funny because when you talk about it with other people, people say, what are you doing? It's like, yeah, I'm gonna go to this event alone. And so sometimes it's like, oh, why don't you go with somebody? It's like, no, it's by choice. I'm actually gonna take myself on a date. And so when I put it in that kind of frame of mind, I realized that it's powerful because I had a wonderful time. I went to go see the show. I don't know if you guys have seen it yet, the musical by Carol King, Beautiful. Have you guys seen that show yet?
I haven't seen it.
So highly recommended. Go and see it. It's a great story. It's a great show. But the point of it was just wonderful to make some time to really just take care. I think that I think we're all pretty goal driven on this call. But one of the things now that's just really important for my life is to just make sure that I really have some solid Michael time. So I hope everybody has a chance to do that for themselves because it really does reignite your visions. It helps, keeps you inspired for the things that you're supposed to be doing and what you're meant to do. So I just wanted to share and, encourage you guys to take yourself on a date.
I love that, Michael. And you know what? Having fun is really part of life. It's really part of who we are. We've forgotten, I think we've forgotten, as kids, all we want to do is play, right? And play was so much fun. And I love that. I love that you date yourself. I did myself all the time too. I love it.
I know.
It's very empowering. No, it's true. It's very empowering, It's very empowering.
Yeah.
And, and I used to be like, no, if I didn't have somebody, I would not go out. And, like to go from that extreme to, I don't need somebody. I could just go out and I'll meet people because you're more open. And, if you want to meet, or sometimes you just want to be with you,
Exactly. I think it's just making a decision to whether you're in a relationship or not, or however that looks like. It's just wonderful to make that decision of, I'm going to gift myself something today, or I'm going to go and really have an experience with myself today that's going to be beneficial because I know it is, right? And the funny thing about that, it was, I had a full day yesterday. And so my life condition of where I was, I didn't necessarily feel like I wanted to go, but I knew it's the same thing like going to the gym. It's like that idea of self-care, going to it, I knew that I was going to walk away with something that was going to be amazing. So it's like, fighting through that, the lower part of in our minds that we don't want, the things that we do, the lower frequency, to get past that because it's so worth it in the end when you know what you need to be doing for you. So yeah.
It doesn't have to be complicated either.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, you go out on, I've been dating myself for a while now. Right? And I've done all sorts of really amazing, fun things. And Michael, you and I spent some time together in California, and just kind of being, just kind of sitting and being, and not doing anything in particular could be the most magnificent thing that you do. Just not doing anything.
No, and not doing it. And the beauty of that is that, you know, when Carolyn and I were hanging out, you know, here's the thing too, you know, when you're with like-minded individuals, you know, Carolyn and I were with each other, you know, we went to the conference in Orange County, and it was just so simple. You know, we had an incredible time, but you know, when people understand one another, it was easy. It's easy. It's like, oh, you're going here, you're going to do that. You're going to, we'll meet each other here. Oh, where are you going now? Like, you know, when people are clear about their mission and what they need to do, it's easy, guys. So that's the thing that I'm just looking for ease. You know, I don't want to be in a space where there's, you know, just negative energy, you know, negativity, people who can't see where you want to go. You know, it's easy. So, you know what's best for you. And that's where the dating comes in, you know, take care of yourself.
Absolutely. And I think that, you know, once you start resonating on a different vibration, you won't be attracted to negativity. You can't. And even if you do go, like, let's just say, you know, you do go to a place, or, you know, there's a certain gathering and you have to be there, you cut your time short, you know, you make a present.
Pazit.
I see myself like, you know, like a, like a star, you know, I make my presents and I'm like, okay, guys, you know, I got to go. Thank you so much. So, you know, so again, it goes back to self-care, self-love. It's putting like what is best for me, you know, is it best for me to be in this environment? And if it's not, it's best for me to remove myself from this environment, you know?
100%.
So, yeah.
And
so
a lot of people classify self-care, they get it confused with selfish, right?
Yes.
Society tends to put that kind of weight on us, that if you're looking after yourself, you know, you're selfish, and it doesn't mean you're not looking after everybody else in your life that, you know, that is part of your responsibility to look after. But we have it backwards. We need to look after ourselves first so that we can be better able to look after the people that we love around us. And we tend to put ourselves, I used to say that after, you know, raising 3 kids, that I never even forget being at the top of the list. I didn't even make the list. Right? I was at the bottom of the list because I was always putting, and there's nothing the matter with putting the people you love in, you know, and taking care of them. But I think that we all eventually learn that we have to be so good to ourselves. I call it radical self-care. You and I talked about that. That just puts ourselves in this category of, okay, what am I going to do for myself today? If it's a walk, or if it's quiet time, or it's meditation, or I want to go take myself out for lunch, or I want to do something that makes me feel good. Because as we know, when we're in the right vibrational energy, we always want to be feeling good. So what can you do today that will achieve that goal? Feeling good.
Absolutely. And you're able to really hold the space for others because your mind, your mind is healthier, your body's healthier. So you're able to really, really support the people that need to support, including yourself.
Yeah.
So it's a win-win situation. And, you know, I think that, you know, this whole idea, you know, it's very interesting, right? Because this is what we're taught, right? We're taught to not take care of ourselves. And that's what it's so really, when you're planting your seeds in opposition, really thinking differently from the rest of the world, really, really thinking differently and going, okay, you know what? It's time, because I know what is best for not just me, but for my family, for my friends. I know what's best. So I got to do the work. You got to do the work.
And nurturing comes in many ways. Nurturing yourself, nurturing your mind. It's all part of self-development, right? 100%. Self-development, self-realization. It's taking the time for you, you know, for you to create, for you to feel good. It's all good, you know. The most important thing is to stay in good vibrations as well, right? Because the more you put yourself in good vibrations, the more you're vibing high. The more you're vibing high, the more you meet people that are vibing high, and you know, that's all. And it makes life fun again. It's not just like goals, work, hustle. Yeah. I personally don't believe that hustling works with universal laws. You're not meant to just hustle. You know, you're meant to have like balance in your life. And when you're working with universal laws, you understand that. You understand that going inside, taking time for yourself, and then using the time to create, to bring your gift to the world. That's what you're here for. You're here to enjoy, you know, you're here to enjoy life.
Well, that's why.
My last, sorry to, my last thing that it was just what you said, Pazit, is that I was invited. So here's the story. So I was invited this week to go and see a fashion show for one of my employees. And so she said, come to the show. I think you're really going to just get, again, it's all about the inspiration. So
right.
I love, I think art is art, and it's incredible to see how our artists express themselves through different mediums. So I decided to go to the show, and I walked into the room. It's no judgment against the people, but everybody was, there was a lot of beautiful people, but the energy was a complete lack. I mean, suffering, right? And so, it was engaging with people and just networking and talking. And it was just interesting about, the energy was just a slander, like taking everybody down. What is this person wearing? What is this person doing? And I knew, I was like, this is not.
This is where I belong.
I do not belong in
That's
this
right.
room right now. And so I went, and there were a couple of shows happening throughout the evening. And so, I went to the first one, and I made that decision. Normally, the type of person that I am, I would stay to the end.
Yeah.
And it was really wonderful to go, thank you so much for the invitation. I said goodbye to the group, and I left.
Yeah.
And it was, right? And sorry.
Well, you protected your own energy as well. That's all part of self-care as well. If we're in a situation, or we find that we're, with a certain quality of person that's not, in the vibration that we want to be in, that resonates with us, it doesn't feel in harmony with us, well, we can actually move away from that.
Exactly.
And that's,
you have the decision, right? You have the power. Yeah. That's what I love. So like, you have to remember, you always have the power. It's you who chooses.
You have the choice.
It's exactly like Valerie said as well. When she felt like she was playing too small, she left. That's it. You don't need to stay, like fuck this, like being polite and all this shit,
Exactly.
like it's bullshit.
Exactly.
Polite for who? Polite to yourself. Polite to yourself. Respect yourself. When you respect yourself first, people respect you, because you have to remember, everything's a mirror. So it all comes, that's part of self-care.
And it's about boundaries. It's about boundaries as well. We often feel that people are not respecting our boundaries. If you don't respect your own boundaries, nobody's going to respect your boundaries. So if you're feeling overwhelmed by that kind of thing, take a look at your thinking, take a look at your own self and say, okay, what am I doing where I'm not respecting my own boundaries, which is exactly why I'm attracting people who don't respect my boundaries, right?
Right. It's profound, but when you take a little bit of time to really delve a little deeper, you start to understand what your patterns are.
Yeah.
And why these people keep showing up. Right? If they keep showing up,
what is it in you? What is it in you? What is it in you? Because you have to remember, and I think as we'll take this and we'll close this off, is that you're creating your reality. Whether you think you are, you think you're not, you are. You are. And so if you're in a place where all these people are there, it's just to show you, it's a reflection, and then if you feel that you don't belong, it means you've grown. You've grown. That's it. You've grown out of it. There's a lot of things that I used to do, 2 or 3 years ago before I really went in heavy into my self-realization, that today I don't do anymore. It doesn't resonate with me. A lot of my habits
You don't even
change.
think to do it anymore. It's like you're on a completely different frequency now, right?
Absolutely. A lot of habits change. A lot of, a lot of people that I don't resonate with, I say, no, thank you. Thank you. I really appreciate you thinking of me, but no, I won't be able to be there. And these are all power of your decision, because you decide how you want to live your life. You decide who you want in your circle of friends. You decide, where you're going. You decide. So I hope that you guys understand that it's you who decides. It's you who creates. So once you have your vision and you know where you're going, you just have to say, like, is this congruent with my vision, or is this not congruent with my vision? That's how I work, And if it's congruent with my vision, it's a definite yes, and my body feels it. And if it's not congruent, even my body doesn't want to go. It's like, we don't want to go. It's not for us.
So we need to listen to that.
Listen.
Okay. Instead of ignoring it, which is habitual behavior, is ignoring the messages when they come to you. If your body doesn't want to go, Universal knows what's happening. You just got to listen. And I'll just leave you guys with the expression that I love to use, which is no is a sentence. N-O, period. You don't have to explain it. You don't have to justify it. You don't have to tell people why, and I'm sorry, but you got to understand. You don't have to explain yourself. No is a sentence. You have to be rude, right? You just be yourself and just say, No.
That's it. It's all conditioning too. You have to remember, as we're changing, as you're growing, as you're studying, you're expanding and you keep expanding. So, you know, you'll meet different people on your journey. So it's all good. Everybody's at a different stage. And, you know, and the higher you go, the you want to vibrate with things that are on the same frequency. So it's normal that other things fall off. Yep. So all this to say, I want to bring the mastermind to a close. I think it was such a great mastermind. Look at us.
Good call. Lots of great
it was a great call. And I want to remind you, you know, always, you know, repeat the 11 laws always. You know, that's why when we start the mastermind, we always bring them, you know, we always bring them to light. And every time, like, you do something, like, you know, you start connecting the dots moving forward, stay strong with your thoughts, see where your thoughts are, use the out picture just to tell you where you're at, but don't stay stuck in it. You know, don't stay stuck in it. Use it as, you know, as a way to navigate. You're like, oh, okay, a little iceberg, I'm going to go this way, you know? So, you know, so just navigate. And always remember that you are the creator of your reality and that you have the power. Okay. And success is yours. You were born for success. Yeah. The question is, you know, whether you want to make you want to make yourself a person of I can or I can't. And again, that's your choice. There's no right or wrong. It just is.
Just is. Mm-hmm. So I put the link in. We will see you all. It's a separate Zoom link. You'll get it in the email that comes to you, and you'll also get it in the replay. But we look forward to seeing you all in the room at 7 a.m. next week as we take a very deep dive into the Kabbalion and the 7 keys to master your mind and your success. So we'll see you all in the room next week. And if you haven't registered, I will send you the link again, and we'll get our group together for the month of May. And then the month of June, we will do some other reading and whatnot, and we'll tell you all about that another day. So
we hope you guys enjoyed studying the 11 laws with us. Keep studying them, you know, keep studying them. Although when we're not, you know, we're not on the mastermind on Sunday, Carolyn and I study them constantly, daily. For me, it's a daily practice. I always read them before I even start my day. You know, it's like a ritual for me, just to always keep my mind clear of what I want. And we want to thank you all. You've been like so fantastic, showing up every morning at 7 a.m. We've seen all of you grow in a lot of different ways through your stories. We've seen you expand, and we wish for you to only keep expanding. And we hope we can expand with you in the Kabbalon. And if not, we'll see you all for those who will not be part of the journey. We will see you in June.
We will see you all next week. I very much hope to see all your beautiful shining faces. Congratulate yourself for your discipline, your commitment to yourself and your growth and your success by joining these calls on a Sunday morning at 7 a.m. We love these calls. Pazit and I get on the phone on Saturday nights, and we're talking about, you know, what we're going to do on the Sunday morning, and we love that you all show up here, and we love to see you all on Sunday morning. So
absolutely,
good part of our day.
All right, so go rock it, guys. Have an amazing week, and we'll see you next week. All right, let's do this.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, guys.